Hello, for today's review I've got yet another Chinese in-ear monitors. Well, I don't know, but probably 90% of my review starts with these words. So today it's TRI i4. Am I right? Yeah, TRI i4. Actually, it's not a new brand, it's a sub-brand of pretty familiar to all who are looking my reviews, company KB Ears. I don't know why they've started sub-brand, but I don't think it's changed. It make a difference for regular listeners, so it's KB Ear, TRI i4 or just TRI, so it's not that important. It's dual driver hybrid in-ear monitors. They are using 10mm dynamic driver and single balanced armature, but this time balanced armatures are made by Knowles, and actually it's important. When we will talk about the sound, I will cover why it's important. And price is about $68, but if you left unpaid order and send them Porta.Fi as a message, price will be reduced to $56. They asked me to share this discount, so it's about $10, but anyway, I think it's a pleasant addition. And I think that's all. Now let's have a closer look. Nice, stylish black box with company's logo. So it's Trident, pretty expected. And here are technical specifications. Color gold. There is also cyan version, one balanced armature and one dynamic driver, 20 Hz, 40 kHz, sensitivity 103 decibels, and impedance 12 ohms. So as you can see, pretty low impedance and not so high sensitivity, so they require probably some player or at least a good smartphone, but we'll cover that later. Inside, nice pouch, in-ear monitors themselves, and good set of tips. So 3 pair of black single flange tips, 3 pair of fancy green and gray tips, and a pair of phones. So another pair of tips, of course, is already here. You will have also cable and storage pouch. So as you can see, accessory set is pretty good for basic affordable device. In terms of build quality, they are nothing but great. In-ear monitors CNC'd from single aluminum block, and as you can see, they look really stylish. Nice finish, nice polish, really good color. It's kind of beige probably, but looks really stylish. Another version that is green, something between green and blue, also looks fancy. It's a typical design. They fit in pretty nicely into ears. They have ergonomical shape. Of course, if your ears are small, there could be issues, but to my ears they fitting perfectly with zero issues and stays there for a long time with lot of comfort. Spouts are short, but they are, as you can see, part of the shell where spouts are located is extended, so they fitting pretty deep inside the ear and providing a bit above average sound isolation. There are 2 vent holes to compensate the inner pressure. There is a good lip for holding the tips, protective grill, and actually build quality is really great. You know, a few years ago, such a good shells we could expect only in some really expensive models. And cables are made replaceable. Here use really tight MMCX connectors. I need to apply a strong force to disconnect them. Actually, connectors themselves look a bit cheaper compared to great case, but at the same time they feel really sturdy, reliable, and they have a good click. Really good connectors. I hope they will serve also well for a long time. Cable is thin, pretty basic, but it has ear hook format to provide a secure fit, and itself it's really soft, really comfortable, almost zero microphonic effect. It's not getting hard when it's cold, so you know, nothing super fancy, nothing audiophiliac looking, but it's a good workhorse. It's a good cable, both in terms of sound. I tried to replace it with something more expensive, and this actually didn't improve the sound. And it's really comfortable and really soft, so I suppose it will be reliable too. Splitter is plastic, and here it goes way down below to a small angle jack, so probably it's also the best version of jack. It's small and nice and reliable. So, in terms of design, I think it's really great, especially if you took price into attention, and overall wearing comfort is good, at least for me, and build quality also good, and I suppose they will serve long. And of course about the sound, these in-ear monitors, this TRI i4 are tuned to be neutral and resolving with slight hint of V-shapeness, small accent on low frequencies and a bit bigger accent on the treble. But at the same time they are really resolving, probably thanks to this nose balanced armature, so you won't have this typical muffled mids that are common for some V-shaped tunings. So, you know, I can probably call them neutral and close to the monitoring in terms of representation. They require about 2 or 3 hours of burn-in, but don't bother with that, they will just burn in themselves while you will be listening to them. Let's have player on the table for examples, and let's proceed with sound description. So, first noticeable thing in their representation is bass. It's not accented, actually it's accented, but just a little bit, so it's not a bass heavy model. But at the same time, the dynamic driver used here is really technical and detailed. So bass is pretty tight, pretty impactful, with good control all over all sonic spectrum. Of course, you know, it's for its price, because of course much more expensive models will be more resolving and so on, but for this $70 it's really good utilization, really good texturing, and really solid foundation for the whole melody. Bass is going pretty deep, and what is more important, at that deep levels of bass it stays really well controlled. Of course, some pure balanced armature setups will be even more resolving, but at the same time, thanks to this dynamic driver, you will have more realistic attacks and decays and more weight. So it's probably a good thing for electronic music, for synthesized bass, but at the same time real instruments are also sounding really enjoyable. Of course, for some bass heavy music, it's probably better to select some model with more accented lows, but you know, actually all recent models from KB Ear are tuned towards neutrality. So they don't make bass heavy models, at least for now. They have I actually forgot the index of their first 3 dynamic driver models that I reviewed at the beginning, but that model was bassy. And all other models that I've got from them are neutral, and I think it could be called their signature sound. And as an example, for the low frequencies, I've got Ukrainian electronic music superstar. It's Onuka, and it means granddaughter, and Svetanak, it's sunrise in Ukrainian. I don't know, did you heard it? She is pretty famous both in Ukraine and outside of it. So it's really interesting mix of electronic music, really avant-garde electronic music, and traditional Ukrainian folk tunes. If I remember right, this track is available on the SoundCloud. If it's true, I will put a link to the description. So, as you can probably expect, there is a pretty punchy, pretty solid bass line, and of course these in-ear monitors play it nicely. Maybe some more bassy in-ear monitors could be even more impressive, but at the same time this track is also filled with a lot of 3-dimensional effects and with a lot of folk instruments, really unusual. So for this track also require good mids and pretty nice treble also required, and that's what TRI-i4 is good at. Mids are a bit recessed in terms of quantity, but it doesn't mean that there is a sacrifice in quality. So mids are typical single balanced armature, a bit thin, so sometimes a bit more weight would be a plus, but at the same time they are crystal clear and really resolving with fast attacks and decays. So it's a model for those who like resolution, for those who like this clarity. So it's perfect for some instrumental music, for vocal, especially female one. So it's a genre that will benefit from this resolving signature, will be good with these in-ear monitors. In terms of imaginary stage, it's noticeably above average in width and a bit above average in depth, so pretty good in representing different three-dimensional effects. So of course it's also not something comparing with top-of-the-line models. As you can see, they gather a bit fingerprints, but at the same time for this affordable segment soundstage is really good. And for the mid frequencies, as an example, I've got yep, here it is. Weeping Post, it's rock reimagined, really good compilation from the Chesky Records, where this label's artists are covering different popular rock songs, and as you can see, Sara K really actually you won't see it if you heard it, then you can believe me, but anyway, Sara K really well replayed Weeping Post, and there is of course perfectly recorded guitar and great vocal, and of course record quality is nothing but stellar. It's typical for the Chesky, and at the same time it requires really resolving mids, and with this in-ear monitors you will get this really accented guitar. You will hear all the nuances of strings, of the vocal, so really rich representation. And treble is here, it's accented a little bit, so if you're treble sensitive, probably it could be a bit too much, but to my taste it's not even close to that limit where it could be too much. At the same time, despite of the accent, treble stays really well controlled, really nice in terms of resolution and detalization. Of course it's lacking extension, just a single balanced armature won't provide you really well extended treble, but anyway, treble here does its job well. It's compensating low frequencies, it fills the tune with all that overtones, so everything that treble should do, it will do. It has a bit shorter attacks and decays than they should be, but it's also typical for the balanced armatures. You know, sometimes I can just say treble is typical single balanced armature, and what it means, it's great resolution, pretty natural treble, a bit faster attacks and decays, normal but not superb extension. That's also like just ticking few boxes, and then probably I have to train some neural network to create sound descriptions. You, as an input, you will give it driver configuration and probably company's name, and it will predict the sound. I think it could replace reviewers in some near future, but and until that won't happen, let's move back. So I need to provide some example for the treble probably, and let's go back, playlists, favorites. Yep, so no neural network can recommend you some good music like I do, and if you didn't heard the recent work of Alan Parsons, you missed really a lot. And his newest album, The Secret, well, probably it's, you know, nothing really new. It's the Alan Parsons that we've heard and that everyone likes, and actually that's really great, because, you know, when I'm waiting for the new album from Alan Parsons, I want to get what I got used to and it's work done in its classical style, even album cover hinting actually it's magic wands, but actually it's also hinting about the forte piano, and you will have nice orchestral work, great vocal, really catchy tunes, and as lights fall, it's a great example of everything in place, and of course it's well recorded. Well, Alan Parsons is first of all sound producer, and of course you can expect nothing but great recording quality, and that require a really good accented and natural treble, and you probably understand that I will say now that's what the TRI i4 will give you. So natural signature with a bit accent on the low frequencies and a bit more accent on the treble, but with really good resolution and clarity, and a slight accent on the micro detalization. In terms of pairings, like FIO M6 is already nice, probably something up to $400 or $500 will be also a good pairing, so not more, but something probably from the holy trinity of budget players. It's M6, AP80 and R3, so based on your select one based on your taste, or something a bit more expensive like what we've got there, FIO M9, iBasso DX120 if you like more resolution, and something like that. In terms of genres and styles, for me they are pretty universal, but of course you need to understand that they won't add coloration on the mids, and they are not treble bass accented enough for some electronic music or something like that, and they are going into micro contrast. Not everyone will like that with heavy metal, for example. I do, but I'm probably a bit an exception here, so it's a matter of your preferences. And probably a few words about comparisons. As usual, I forgot almost every single model in this price range, but probably one of the closest rivals, it's Teen Audio T3, also dual driver hybrid, but T3 is a bit more mid forward, and at the same time they have less deep depths of bass, a bit less impact on the bass, so these ones are a bit more impactful on bass and a bit more mid forward. On the treble they are somewhere close in terms of representation, so if you like mid focus then Teen Audio, if you like a bit more common signatures than TRI. Some other recent models that I've tasted, I don't know, nice HCK NX7 for example, it has more bass, a bit more weight on the mids, but at the same time it has that disjoint treble because the piezo driver works completely independent from other drivers. So I won't try to recall every single model. If you're interested in some particular comparison, just feel free to write a comment. I will try to do my best to compare, but I think you already got the basic idea of their sound. So it was TRI i4. I'm waiting for the next model from KBR, HI or Hi7 or HI7, not sure about the pronunciation. We'll get them, we'll test them, but until that time it was TRI i4. Thank you for attention.